going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at the University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional. Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got Mike Jorgensen joining us, coming up talking Oregon football. It is match day, postseason match day for Oregon volleyball. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, we've got the match on in the studio. It's the first set. Things are close. Things are tense. It's Oregon volleyball against Pittsburgh. The Sweet 16, the regional semifinal for the NCAA Volleyball Championships. Oregon and Pitt in action. It's on ESPN2, and quite honestly, if you're watching this and you decide, you know what, Joey, I don't really want to watch you, I want to watch volleyball today, I'd say, yeah, I get it. I understand. Totally get it. But we will do our best to give you a second screen experience, because I will often be, after we play some interviews, probably sitting like this in the studio watching some Oregon volleyball. Best of luck to Matt Ulmer and squad. Also of note today, Oregon track and field. Just do yourself a favor when you're not driving. Just go to the Oregon track and field social media channels today. Watch the Cole Hawker video. Worth your time. Fun stuff. Some notes around Oregon athletics as well today. Tracy Joiner, new Oregon soccer head coach. She'll be with us in the Country Financial Studio. We will also talk with Arron Spencer, associate head coach for Oregon men's tennis, checking in on their fall slate, the transition to the Big Ten, how it's been going. And the Big Ten championship trophy will be at Matthew Knight Arena on Sunday. When Oregon men's basketball plays Stephen F. Austin coming up at 3 o'clock, we'll have a 2:30 pregame show for you across the Oregon Sports Network. Luke Jackson will join me again. Great seats are still available for that game, by the way. Tickets are as low as like $9. A chance for a photo op with the trophy. It'll be located on the concourse, so if you want to see what a Big Ten championship trophy looks like and take a photo with it, come to Matthew Knight Arena on Sunday. The trophy will be in attendance. I'm betting you that the most important job after the game is who is assigned to the trophy postgame. Who gets the trophy safely to the bus, safely on the airplane, and safely back to Eugene. That is an important question. The trophy, though, will be at Matthew Knight Arena, which is outstanding. And talking Oregon football, it's always a great time to catch up with Jorgy. We talked to him earlier this week, actually. Have it for you to kick off the show today. Ducks with some All-American teams starting to come out. Ducks with award season continuing. The Heisman Trophy ceremony on Saturday, where Dylan Gabriel is a finalist. The Ducks have quarterbacks as finalists in back-to-back years. Pretty outstanding. Mike Jorgensen. We talked with Jorgy earlier this week about all things Oregon football. Mike Jorgensen's here in the Country Financial Studio. Hey, thanks for taking some time. Appreciate you giving us a little season perspective. It is award season, so maybe let's start there. Bryce Betcher, the Burlsworth Trophy winner, forever going to be remembered as this year's greatest walk-on. He earned a scholarship, though, in baseball, eventually a little bit in football. Outstanding for Bryce Betcher.
And
That's
a
pretty
local
cool.
guy.
Local guy.
I mean, that's what's so cool about it is he's a local guy here in Eugene, come be a walk-on, one of those guys where a couple of times he jumped out at us. In spring practice one of the years, all of a sudden it's like, who is this guy? Well, he's just a walk-on. He shouldn't play. The heck with that. I mean, that's
right.
what I heard from everybody. It's like, well, he's a walk-on. He's out there making plays. He's got nothing to lose. He played every game this year like he had nothing to lose. In the right place at the right time, prepared, and as good as anybody on the field. And what a leader he was and is for football, and obviously his baseball abilities are pretty amazing. So good for Bryce Betcher. Big fan of his.
Drafted by the Houston Astros, has the chance to go play professionally, and now might have a decision to make in football. We'll see with the way that he's played. You've been around a lot of teams. You've seen team dynamics. You've got 5 stars. You've got 4 stars. Then you have guys like Bryce Betcher that really earn their way. I've always felt like, Jorgy, the combination of that leads to the best rosters. And I feel like he's a great example of that. What do you think?
That mix, I agree. I think it's really important to have the mix of the stars, the guys that are the 4 and 5 stars or 5+, whatever it's going to be, and then have those others that just play a role and yet are the glue on a team, are respected by those 5 stars, aren't afraid to get in their face and call a spade when a spade needs to be called. And so, Dan Lanning and the coaching staff has done such a great job of melding this group together to create that type of culture where those people, those players, are recognized as leaders on the team, even though they may not be the gaudy stats guys.
Right. Big Ten champs. I say that.
Yeah.
I say that. What comes to mind?
Oh, just how tough it was to get there.
Yeah.
How tough it was for these guys to get there because, with any undefeated team, let alone conference championship team, there's going to be those blowouts and then there's going to be those nail biters. And you figure out a way to get through all of them. Dan Lanning talked about it this last week. When the defense didn't play their best game by far, the offense stepped to the table. We can go back a couple of weeks in Madison, Wisconsin, where the offense didn't play really well, but the defense was off the charts. You got to figure out a way to win, just win, and that's what they did.
And the balance all season long. I mean, you talk about 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that, but all season long, Oregon's been a very balanced team, seemingly in every category. What do you think? What's the breakdown of the roster and the season that was so far?
Yeah, I mean, don't forget to bring into the balance when special teams had to play a big part of that piece too. Yeah, Boise State was a huge part of it. Consistency all season long. But again, you break down the offense and the defense. I just thought they were consistently good. Yeah. When you look at 13 games now that they played. Yeah, there's that game or two where defense maybe gave up a few more points or yards than they should, or the offense didn't put as many points on the board as they should. But the big body of work, consistency on both sides of the ball. Stop the run the ball, pressure the quarterback, complete passes at a high efficiency, don't turn it over. All those things in a majority of the games played out the whole season long, and that's what's put them right where they are.
Yeah. We're talking during finals week, so an academic focus for the Ducks, but also a chance to look inward a bit. It's almost like an extended bye week because you don't even know who you're going to play. You're going to look a little bit at Ohio State, going to look a little bit at Tennessee, but a chance for the Ducks to improve, maybe get a little more consistent.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to take the week off, and yet, there are going to be some pause periods in there where the players do have some downtime. It's finals week, like you talked about, the importance of making sure that they stay focused on the student part of the athlete is really, really important at this point in time. There's going to be a lot of players obviously going to awards shows, so you don't have the whole team together. So, they've earned this week.
Yeah.
Next week they'll partially go to work because they still don't know who they're going to play.
Right.
But they'll break down both of the teams, Tennessee and Ohio State, that are playing, so they can be prepared as soon as that game's over to be off to the races.
More on Tennessee and Ohio State in a second. Jorgy joining us. Award season. Dylan Gabriel up for a lot of them, has won a few of them. If I told you a year ago that this was going to be the quarterback season, regardless of name, pretty impressive season from Dylan Gabriel. What do you see from him? What's the breakdown?
Well, again, it's one of those ones where, once he got into the offense and became comfortable in the offense, everything else really didn't matter from that point on. It was getting into that groove, getting into game types of situations like they did with Idaho and with Boise State. And, once you got past game 2 or 3, he was just smooth, calm, collective. The offensive line figured out what they were doing. That sure helps a quarterback out a lot when you know you're well protected and the communication's really, really there. So, he became what everybody, I think, thought he was going to be. Obviously, Oklahoma's kicking themselves. Anybody else who was trying to maybe grab onto him was kicking themselves. Great that he was an Oregon Duck. And again, Joe, you can look at all the numbers in that type of deal, but it's also what he does, again, as a leader. Mm-hmm. The way that he leads his group, the way that he connects with them, whether it's the trip to Grants Pass that they made as a group down there. Or
minivan, baby. The van content.
The van full of football players going to places. I mean, again, there's a dynamic about a guy like him that really makes everybody better.
Yeah, and you touched on the offensive line. I mean, every team's going to face some adversity. But it shouldn't be a surprise that an Oregon team is 13-0, the only undefeated team left. Part of that's the depth. We saw that on the O-line. You saw that on the defensive line. Guys have played in and out. They faced a little adversity and getting healthier here.
They did, and getting healthier is the biggest piece of it. I mean, at this time of the season in particular, when you're going to go up against big-time competition from here on out, and did all season long, but it steps up when you get into this 12-team playoff. To get that group together as a cohesive group, to have a center who is a center playing center each week is huge for a quarterback, and the rest of communication that takes place. I just, again, we joke about it all the time, but run the ball and stop the run. Run the you-know-what ball. And that's what this team did, and, boy, it makes everybody else's job easier. You saw Penn State against Oregon. What happens when you run the ball? Everything else worked a lot better for the Nittany Lions in that game, and Oregon did just enough to win that game.
Yeah, talking with Jorgy. All right, Ohio State, Tennessee, mentioned that. If you watch, I mean, you and I probably both watched more Ohio State than Tennessee.
Yeah.
What's your breakdown? What do you think in this game?
Boy, I tell you, nighttime game in Columbus. What's the weather going to be like? Who knows? It's 2 weeks from now. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Something tells me Rocky Top's going to make a little bit of a run.
You think so?
I do. I mean, can you imagine Rocky Top in Pasadena and the checkerboard running around down there in Southern California and all the whiskey flying around and everything else that goes with it? I mean, it could be crazy if they can get there, but it's going to be tough. And again, to me, with Ohio State, what's the hangover effect of Michigan?
Right.
Even a couple of weeks later, there may be a hangover effect there that they can't get over for some reason, but they better get over it in a hurry because Rocky Top's coming to Columbus, and they're going to be fired up to be in the playoffs trying to get to a Rose Bowl. And I can't picture Tennessee in a Rose Bowl because it's the tradition that we've known for over time, but it's different now, and it'd be cool, but two tough competitors, whoever you're going to play.
Might get the green O and the red O in the Rose Bowl again, which would feel like a harken back to a Pac-12 Big Ten game. Now, here's something that I thought was interesting, and I was curious, just the playoff in general. The higher seed is favored, as we're talking now, by at least a touchdown in every game. I was surprised to see that from the odds makers and just the way that everything breaks down. But you get Indiana, Notre Dame in the first game on the 20th, SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, and then Tennessee, Ohio State's the last one. Anything surprise you?
So who's the higher seed of Indiana, Notre Dame?
Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a touchdown favorite.
They're the higher seed, though.
Well, this is where it gets confusing. Are they the higher seed or the lower seed? They're the lower number, but the higher seed.
Okay.
Because the high seed is the 1 seed, but it's the lower number.
So Notre Dame's 5.
Notre Dame
6.
is 7.
Oh.
Indiana is 10. 6 Penn State, 11 SMU, 5 Texas, 12 Clemson,
okay, so
8 Ohio
I'm
State,
confused
9
here. Didn't you say the higher seed is favored?
Yes, the higher seed, the lower number. Right? Because you would say like the 1
what's
seed.
What's Indiana's seed?
Indiana's 10.
Okay, so they're the higher seed, but they're not favored.
No, they're the higher number, but they're the higher seed.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Well, wait,
numerically.
No, this is always confusing. Isn't the high seed the 1 seed?
The highest, yeah.
Yeah, the highest seed is the 1 seed, and like 16 would be the lowest seed. But it's the highest number is
numerically,
the 16. Yeah.
Okay.
We got there. the
think about what would happen if Jerry was sitting here and we were doing this.
The lower number is favored in every game. Yeah. Did anything surprise you at the CFP, though? Did any of it surprise you when the CFP came out, the rankings?
A little bit, but, before the CFP even begins, you don't know what teams are going to be slotted where and how they're going to finish the season. So as much as people want to say, Oregon's getting gypped on this type of deal because they're going to get the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State.
Still get a bye, though. I'm telling you, that's valuable.
It is, that extra week. But you didn't know as the season began that was going to be the two teams that are going to be sitting in the 8-9 slot.
Right.
And frankly, I think, the committee is going to make probably some changes in the future because traditionally the 8-9 are going to be pretty stinking good playing the number 1.
Right.
And there's some other matchups out there that, you hear, seen it written all week long. Should have laid down, lost the game. Because you're a 5 or a 6 and you have a better matchup. Well, that's not the way it works. And I love Dan Lanning's response every single time that, you know what?
Just win.
Go win.
Yeah.
Go win the game. Nothing said. Nobody said this was going to be easy.
Well, and here's my thing. This is true in the basketball tournament every year, where it's you're better off to be a 12 seed because you get a better path, and I'm like. Yeah, but also it could be a bad matchup in a 5-12 no matter what. Like if you become a 5 seed, a lot of times it's like, oh, you're a 5, it's a bad matchup. The 12 gets a good path. Yeah, but every matchup from the transitive property in math does not translate in sports, right? We know that. It depends on the matchups between two teams.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to run into really good competition sooner or later. Any of the 12 teams are really good. I mean, 12 can knock off one if that was the way it was set up very easily.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. You go out and play. You give your best. The matchups is really what it ends up being. It was. I can tell you that matchup with Oregon and Penn State, that wasn't a good matchup for Oregon in relation to where Penn State's skill players were and who had to be matched up on them. And not that Oregon doesn't have good players to match up on them, but a tight end and a gifted running back on linebackers or safeties is not the matchup that you want all the time.
Right.
And they had that
and
type
Tyler
of
Warren
player.
did that to everybody all year long.
All year long. And that's the way it works is when Oregon gets the matchup of Ohio State or Tennessee, it's going to be interesting to see who they match up with better as we start to break that down.
It's the matchups.
Yep.
It's all the matchups. All right, we're going to have Jorgy back next week. We've got our bonus bowl pick'em. Always fun to catch up with you, buddy.
So does this then go on top of the picks that have already been made as to is there a regular season champion? And
yes.
Then okay.
Yes. So I've already run away with it in the regular season.
Locked it up.
But postseason, historically, this is true. I'm awful at picking bowl games. Like, I think overall I have a losing record picking bowl games. You guys usually are better picking bowl games.
Well,
thanks, Scott. Appreciate you, buddy.
In my mind, okay, not anybody else's, but in my mind, I finished three games behind you in the regular season.
Right.
If I make that up in the bowl picks, to me, we tied for the year.
Yeah, okay.
In my mind.
In your mind.
That's what I wanted to point out.
Flag on the play. Good stuff. Mike Jorgensen, hey, always great, Jorgy. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Mike Jorgensen. We will catch up with Jorgy next week as well. We're going to do some bonus bowl pick'em. Jerry's going to join us in the studio tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more Oregon football as the Ducks focus on academics this week a lot. Finals week, and then next week, game prep begins. Tennessee, Ohio State on the 21st. Winner of that game. We'll find out who the Ducks will be playing on January 1st in the Rose Bowl. All right, check in on Oregon volleyball. Pitt took the first set. Oregon volleyball has made a run in the second set. Oregon leading in the second set. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Matt Ulmer's squad in the Sweet 16 today. The regional semifinal, they're taking on the number 1 seed in Pitt. The Ducks currently with a 5-point lead in set 2. Quick timeout, and when we come back, introducing you to the latest addition to the head coaching roster here at Oregon. Tracy Joiner, new Duck soccer head coach, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Duck volleyball still leading in the second set. Pitt, though, making a bit of a run. The Panthers, that is, took the first set. We'll keep you updated. Oregon volleyball postseason continuing for the Ducks. Heard from Jorgy talking a little bit of Big Ten. And a reminder, the Big Ten trophy will be at men's basketball on Sunday. Looking forward to some of those photos that fans get to take, enjoying a little bit of Oregon football history, while also taking in some men's basketball against Stephen F. Austin. Meanwhile, we'll see a new face on the sidelines at Pape Field for Oregon soccer. Tracy Joiner joining the Ducks as the newest head coach, leading the Oregon women's soccer program. She was actually just here. We were talking in the hallway earlier today, and we sat down with her in the Country Financial Studio as part of her introductory media tour. Tracy Joiner, getting to know her. First time that she's joined us here on the show. It's the first time that you've been in the Country Financial Studio. Tracy Joiner, our new Oregon soccer coach, is here, everybody. First of all, just thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Duck. Let's just get the tradition out of the way, shall we? Okay, so it's the first time that you've ever been in here, and it's been a busy day, by the way. So we're talking on introduction day. You've gotten the tour, the walk around Eugene, and now we're going to steal a few minutes of your time. We have a tradition called the 2-minute life story. You have to tell us your 2-minute life story. There's a leaderboard over there on the whiteboard when you walked in.
Okay.
The closest that you can be to 2 minutes. If you go a little over, that's fine. You go a little under, that's fine. But the goal is as close to 2 minutes as possible.
And I don't get to see a timer.
Correct.
Ooh, okay.
You ready?
Tell me when.
All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Okay. Born and raised Bay Area. 5-sport athlete in high school.
Wow.
Love athletics, love competing. Chose soccer as my #1 sport. Went to Berkeley, had a great experience, loved it, made a lot of great friends, great people. Then went on to the real world and then played professionally because something kept always bringing me back to the game. I've always been a coach. Went to grad school when my pro experience was done, got my master's from Boston University in sports psychology, came back, started my first head coaching position in 2012. Got a second master's degree while I was there because it gave me a pay raise, but also because, like, it helped. From Concordia University, did great, loved it. Working with a different demographic of student athlete was incredible. And then got hired at San Francisco State. Was there for 4 seasons. Again, great experience. Really liked building something from the ground up. Loved it so much. And then got hired at UC Davis and have been there for the past 5 seasons. Incredible experience and really propelled to put me in a position to become a Duck. So that is where I'm at. I'm here now and I am loving it.
Minute 19.9. Okay, I have multiple follow-ups.
Okay, good. Go.
All right. Now you gave us really the professional 2-minute life story.
I sure did.
What about I'm just gonna resume. What's the rest of the 2-minute life story?
Okay. The real life story outside of my professional resume is met my husband 4 years ago now. Justin Joyner. He is an assistant men's basketball coach at the University of Michigan. So now we are the Big Ten power couple is what I'm starting to call us.
I love that.
And I have a dog who is 12 years old named Murphy. He is my firstborn. And then I also have like a real second-born daughter, Wesley. She is almost 2. Cutest thing in the world. And yeah, we have our little fam and we're all really excited about this next step.
That was another 33 seconds.
Okay.
That was good. That's one of the better ones we've had. So bravo. Thank you for indulging us.
Yep.
A 5-sport athlete. What were the 5?
Volleyball, soccer, cross country, softball, and track. And field.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you knew that soccer was your destination when?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think like my senior year, because back then you didn't commit when you were like 12 in women's soccer. You waited and you took your 5 official visits your senior year. Softball was my best sport, but I like contact. So I, figured let's rock with the soccer route. My dad was a baseball coach fanatic, and so I grew up playing baseball my whole life.
Okay.
And then softball started in high school and just loved it and was going to play both at Cal.
Oh.
But after a fall season of soccer, started a fall ball, and I was like, I think I want to be a normal college student for a second,
right.
Which was kind of a bummer because they won the World Series that year. So it was interesting life choice for me.
But still, what a concept, right? Be a college student.
Yeah, weird,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
crazy.
find that balance.
Yeah.
So
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bay Area, okay, this is a little bit of a just me question. I grew up in Santa Cruz.
Okay.
So where in the Bay Area specifically? Because the people say Bay Area, that's a big place.
It's huge. And we're all judgy about actually what part of the Bay Area. So I get that. Like what part of Santa Cruz? Capitola, Aptos?
Definitely neither of those.
Oh,
See?
wow. Okay, good. Fair enough.
Yeah.
From East Bay, Moraga, Lomond area.
Moraga, okay.
Yep.
All right, so you were an A's fan growing up?
I was an A's fan growing up. Yep.
Oh.
I know. Well, now they're not even there anymore. But
I know.
Yeah, I grew up going to A's games. We went to the Giants games quite a bit too,
Yeah.
but that was, the A's games were cheaper and more accessible.
And
so.
better nachos.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Can confirm.
Dollar dogs.
Yeah, the dollar dogs were great.
Also that.
I can confirm. Okay, now you have two. I'm glad that you brought up the 2 master's degrees. An academic focus. That's actually something in the history of the Oregon soccer program through multiple years now has been one of the highest APR programs at this university. I know that academics must be a focus for you if you've got 2 master's degree. How big of a deal is that for you?
It is. I mean, I think that you're here to be a student athlete, and I also know, unfortunately, that there is life after college. So there is a heavy emphasis, and I think that that's the direction that a lot of academics is going now, and just like life is that you need to get a master's, you need to pursue higher education. I think especially as a female in this world, you need to do whatever you can to put yourself in a different stratosphere and, make it look good on paper and then execute in practicality. So I think there's nothing ever wrong with educating yourself and building more knowledge.
You've executed in practicality with multiple programs, as you outlined. What's been the format? What's worked for you in building programs in your career?
Honestly, I think it's just building the right environment where people feel like they want to be great and where they're respected. There's a lot of belief and optimism that comes from me. There's a lot of passion for what I do. Something that's helped, I think, is also like being a female coach where I'm role modeling the behavior. Like I will never ask my players to do something that I wouldn't want to do or that I don't do. So the standards and the expectations that I have for them are the same ones I hold for myself. I tell my teams that, my least and my favorite thing about myself is my discipline. There's a lot of things I'm like, I don't want to go do that right now, but I have to because that's what I do.
I get it.
So, that's just part of it. And I think that my success, not in just my career, but just, in my friendships and, just my life trajectory and the people I've gotten to surround myself with. Like my husband's an incredible coach and person, and I don't get to meet him without having high expectations for myself. But something that I think young women need to really commit to is you're responsible for you, and sky is the limit for what you can achieve if you commit to bringing your best every day and having a great attitude and outlook on life. So
the Big Ten power couple, competitive, I'd imagine. And do you kind of fuel each other? Like, how's that been in your career?
Man, we are iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
We are let's go, and we love talking about leadership and the amount of Dan Lanning podcasts I was sent from Justin leading up to the interview. He's like, I listen to this one every day. I'm like, okay, wow. So there's a lot of like great banter and feedback, and we're both like crazy competitive, so it's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. We're talking with new Oregon soccer coach Tracy Joiner. The makeup of this team, I know that's a little bit unfair as you just start, but what's your assessment of the program that you're taking over right now?
We got some work to do, but I think that there's a lot of really talented players, and players perform differently under different leadership, and so the way that I look at it is everyone's got a great opportunity to come in and clean slate, show what they can do, not just to me but to their teammates, to themselves, I'm excited. I think it's a really unique opportunity where everyone is on the same playing field right now, and I know with the talent that is here, I'm excited to see them perform and excited to work with them. So really the assessment period is going to be a really fun one, and I'm excited for it, and then kind of, take a look and see what areas we need to add depth in, or areas that we need to, add some more talent. But yeah, I'm excited to work with what we have here and give everyone the same opportunity.
In the modern world that we're in of college athletics, where the transfer portal is a reality and just roster movement, it seems like it happens a lot more. Yeah. As a new coach, does that help you build a program the way you want? I don't know. Does it work both ways? I'm genuinely curious.
I think it does. I historically just, am really a loyal person. So and I feel like I have a lot of integrity where I really want to give everybody a chance. And fairness is something that I really value, but I also value winning at a profound level. So, again, it's really just about assessing what the program needs. I look as my job here is to help people be successful. How do we help the players be successful on and off the field? And then how do we make a winning team that's a national championship contender? So the portal is interesting. I mean, there, no doubt I'm going to take a look, obviously, and I've already been, looking at it, but it's hard to kind of know what we need without, seeing what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. I mean, you talk about loyalty, but then you want to win. I mean, I just will say on behalf of all fans and to coaches everywhere, bless you. That's a hard job. I mean, I know I say this half jokingly, but it's tough, isn't it?
It is. But I also feel like my perspective is that I also want individual players, whether they're here or not, to have success and to have a great positive experience. So if it's not necessarily here, let me help you find the right fit. Everyone, in my opinion, we get to do the best thing. We get to play college sports. You know how fun this is. Thousands of people would love to do this. So if it's not here, then let's help you be successful somewhere else. And I'm all about that.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that for sure. All right, now the schedule ahead. What is the schedule ahead? Filling out a staff, assessment period. What's the schedule? What's your life like for a little bit now?
Ooh, getting to know the players is probably my first priority. So, over the next couple of weeks, I'd like to, I don't have anywhere to live here yet, but, meet with the players. I call it tea with Tracy, so they'll get to spend some time with me, get to know them as people and what kind of makes them tick, what makes them happy, all that stuff. And then, building out a great staff. I mean, excited. Again, it's a really cool opportunity to bring some high-level people in and work with our players. I look at it as it's a staff. I'm not the head coach. It's we're all in this together, and so the vibe's got to be right. And that's something that I'm all about. So I want it to be competitive and professional and passionate and positive. So. Yeah, next steps, timeline. Let's get to know the kiddos, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
The essential question now, the real hard-hitting stuff that you'll become accustomed to on Duck Insider.
Okay.
I heard from multiple fans that loved the fact that, line 1 in your bio says dog lover.
Yes.
So this is a big deal for you.
It is. No, part of was do I write into my contract that my dog gets to come to everything? I'm no, I just won't ask. I'll just ask for forgiveness later. But he gets to come to everything.
That's so great.
Yeah, no, Murph's, I say, I told you, he's my firstborn. He's love of my life, and he will be here. He looks really good in green also.
Love that.
We're all in it together.
Love that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So from one dog lover to another, thanks for being a Duck. What else should fans know? Did we miss anything? What else should fans know today?
No, let's just go win this thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. We look forward to chatting with you more and more. And I will just apologize now on the air for you being across the hall from probably one of the loudest rooms in the athletic department. But hopefully you'll join us every now and then. Thank you, Coach.
Would love to. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Tracy Joiner, new Oregon soccer head coach, joining us in the Country Financial studio. Great to get to know her. We'll have her on again. Of course, moving forward toward the spring schedule, putting together her staff, and putting together the roster, right? The team that we're all going to see here moving forward. bright future ahead, I think, for Oregon soccer. Quick timeout. When we return, we're going to talk a little men's tennis. Quick update on Oregon volleyball as well. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you real.
We're all tuned in to Oregon volleyball. If you're watching the show and you see the wide shot of the studio, that camera is actually hanging from our TV. Duck volleyball is a point away now, 2 points away, I should say, from a second set winner. So we'll keep you updated. The Ducks are in a close one with Pitt. They dropped the first set. You can watch live on ESPN2 if you're live with us here in the 1 o'clock hour. And after they lost that first set, they really have been in control of the second set. Pitt is now serving. We'll see if Oregon volleyball can finish off the second set. They're at the number one team in the country in the regional semifinals. And you'll remember Pitt opened the season against Oregon at Matthew Knight Arena as part of a home-and-home across a couple seasons. And Pitt looked like the number one team in the country at Matthew Knight Arena, what was that now, 2-3 months ago. See if Oregon volleyball can get it done. We'll keep you updated. Also of note this weekend, Oregon men's basketball against Stephen F. Austin at 3 o'clock. It's finals week here at the University of Oregon, and Oregon women's basketball will be in action again next Tuesday and Thursday. Air Force and UC Irvine are in town for a pair of 6 o'clock tips for Kelly Graves' squad. KG actually met with the media this morning. We'll have that interview for you on Duck Insider tomorrow. Now, in other news, it's now tied at 23. Okay. I thought I was going to look up there and be like, this is a win for, unfortunately, no. We'll keep you updated. Okay. In other news, that Big Ten trophy that's going to be making its tour. Also, as award season continues, Oregon football and the rest of college football, award season continuing tonight, the special college football award show. And then the Heisman Trophy ceremony will be on Saturday where Dylan Gabriel is a finalist. All right. I got a little bit behind on the show, so I want to get a quick timeout. We're going to come back, hear a bit from Aaron Spencer, and it allows us to also keep you up to date on Oregon volleyball. This is going to be the Ducks are challenging right now. Okay, we're going to be back with you on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Live update. Oregon up 25-24 over Pitt. Pitt just went on a 4-0 run. Then the Ducks have responded. An ace to get Oregon within one. And it looks like Oregon just took set two. Let's go, Ducks. Yeah. 26-24. Oregon gets the victory in set two. All square between Oregon and the number one team in the bracket, Pittsburgh, at Pittsburgh. Big time from Matt Ulmer's squad. Now they'll head to set three, all square. You love to see it. We'll keep you updated here on Duck Insider. Elsewhere, Oregon men's tennis. They've put together a great fall season, playing a little bit less, actually, than they normally would. Part of that's because of the conference transition. And we caught up for the first time with Arron Spencer, Oregon men's tennis associate head coach who played here at Oregon, now coaching with Nils Schelander here at Oregon. A fun chat with Arron Spencer talking men's tennis this week. All right, we get a little season check-in for Oregon men's tennis, and it's the first time in the studio for Arron Spencer joining us. Hey, thank you for being here. So do you, I have to just ask right off the bat, do you embrace a rivalry as much as Nils Schelander does? I mean, where do you stand on all this?
Grew up in Eugene, played for Oregon, came back.
I think that sums it up.
Say enough?
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
The coach I signed for and played 2 years for here was the associate head coach there.
Yeah.
My last 2 years playing here.
Yep. Okay.
We can tie enough?
Yeah, there's some tie-ins for sure. All right, I had to start there. Now, you know you're familiar. It's the first time in the studio.
Yep.
Got to tell your 2-minute life story. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Born in Coos Bay. So we can kind of start with a lot of Oregon ties right off the bat. Moved around a lot. Moved to California. Moved back up to Oregon. Parents had me pretty young, so we bounced around a lot. I think I went to 5 different elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
Ended up in Eugene. Kind of stayed Monroe through Sheldon. Was a Sheldon kid. And then I thought I was going to leave. I didn't think I was going to stay at Oregon. At that point in time when I was in high school, we didn't have the indoor courts yet. It was still the old covered courts. They kind of were building the program along with the rest of the athletic department. And so I thought I was going to leave, like most kids did from Oregon. And last second decided to stay. Became a Duck, and exactly what I should have done was perfect. And then as soon as I finished my time here, moved out to Charleston to coach at an academy. Did that for a couple of years. Met my wife, Lauren, out there. My wife grew up in South Africa, so we ended up going to South Africa for a year.
Wow.
Started a nonprofit, working with AIDS orphans and doing kind of feeding schemes and watering stuff, and amazing years. The only year of my life I didn't do tennis.
Really?
My dad's a tennis director, so I've been on the court since I was crawling.
Okay.
That was my 1 year off, and then came back and got into the college tennis thing. So College of Charleston for 2 years, University of Arizona. Took a little time off between, and then got the chance to come back here.
Yeah.
And it was a no-brainer. The one thing in it was when I met my wife, we'll go anywhere, we'll do whatever we want. If this job opens, we're moving.
Huh.
That was the one stipulation I asked for and said. So when Nils called, she literally said, we're moving. I didn't even have to ask.
Love that.
So, and now we're here.
Minute 27.
Quick.
Well done. No, that's efficient, though.
Yep.
Now, as you can imagine, I have multiple follow-up questions. So, you make the decision. I mean, I think everybody has that feeling of like they want to spread their wings, right? But you decided, and you've spread your wings now since then. I mean, just being at Oregon, what has it meant to you to be a Duck, both as a student athlete and now coming back for this job?
It's been everything. I mean, I think, and you can attest, spending time here too, it's when I came, it was right when kind of they did the blueprint. This is the plan for the department. It's what we want to do. That was kind of in my recruiting process. So in my process, it was when Joey was doing his thing and kind of watching it get the brand was getting out. And so for me, it was, go to a school that already has a big history and has done a lot, and they're already ranked high, be a part of it, or come here where the history was almost none on the tennis program, right? And so getting to be a part of that from the city I'm from, it called me at the end of it, So getting to kind of see what this place has become from when I started to now. Yeah. You can't even put into words, getting to watch all of it.
Well, it's so cool. I mean, you touched on it, like, for me, too. I mean, I've seen it, but you saw it beforehand. I mean, you talk about the blueprint. I got here when the blueprint was being executed, So I just think it's got to be rewarding, right, to see, and you've helped build it.
Yeah. Well, just the pride of it, right? It's kind of seeing all of it from, and, our little small world of tennis gets to kind of watch a lot of it, too, from the other corner, right? And so the pride in all of it and everything that it's become, to where when I first started, you'd go to the East Coast and they didn't know what the logo was.
Right.
And now you go there and they're selling the logo in the stores, and it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, all right, back in time for you a little bit, just as fans get to know you here. Your dad, a tennis director.
Yep.
Big influence, I take it.
100%.
That's really cool, just to hear like the legacy. Do you still think about like things that you learned from him in your coaching and in your career now? Like how big of an influence was it in your life?
It's big, and it's different. I mean, he's always ran tennis clubs,
Yeah.
So he gets a ton of people into tennis, makes them love tennis. They kind of play it as the life sport, and I was doing the competitive side, and so there's things that cross, which I use, which are great, and there's things that are different.
Sure.
And so it's kind of fun even when we talk about it. It's very different. It's a different sport almost. And
Interesting.
How you approach it.
So what is different? I mean, what's the difference between the competitive versus like I'll just go hit some balls with my friend? Like, where does it start? What's the difference?
His world is more people that get off work, go to do it to enjoy it. Like Paris, right? Paris is probably doing 4 to 5 hours a day as a junior, 6 days a week, plus training, plus everything else. And so it becomes like anything. It almost becomes a job. Like any athlete you talk to for any sport here, you get to that spot where it starts becoming more about that is what you do first.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that's always the biggest separation.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we're talking with Associate Head Coach Arron Spencer. Season so far, how's it gone?
It's been great. It's like we were talking about a little bit. It's the youngest group we've ever had.
Yeah.
So no seniors on the team. We had 4 seniors who all helped last year to a tiny young freshman group, right? And so it's 3 freshmen, bunch of sophomores, couple juniors.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a totally different progression that we've had to look through of getting them to a tournament. We have to reteach everything with how we progress through a tournament, how we progress through the fall, and the kids have come in day one working. It's these guys have jumped right into the culture we've been building for how we work and how we do things, and there's a lot of really good things ahead. We're young. We'll see kind of how they deal with all of it, but it's been an awesome fall so far.
How much does your style as a coach change from year to year based on the roster makeup and the youth versus the experience? How much does it change? Is it dynamic?
Yeah, I think more in terms of you got to remind yourself like this is their first time. Right? We've had and you've talked to most of them the last 6-7 years, Josh's and Quinn's and Manu's and Tom. We've always had the guy who's a junior or senior that they all got to look up to. And Vladdy's a stellar junior, but we don't have that senior, right? And so it's kind of just they're teaching themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Different guys are stepping up, which is great.
Yeah.
But then you have to Nils and I both got to step back and be like, all right, this is their first tournament ever.
Right.
Right. Took one of the trips we took was 2 freshmen and a sophomore.
Yeah.
does it? And so it's kind of just a different feel for sure.
And then getting on airplanes and traveling and, doing all the things I can only imagine. So take fans inside, if you could, just the schedule so far and then what you're anticipating coming up. Because I was talking to Paris about this. Like, it's a year-long sport, right? I mean, you guys have to have that ebb and flow over the course of the year.
And so it's, with the schedule change in the Big Ten this year, we kind of usually our fall's more. You probably saw it in the schedule. We usually do way more.
Right.
This year we decided to do just a couple events each guy. Do a lot more training blocks together, and then we actually added one more duel in the spring.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little more packed on the spring side, but it allowed us to keep the guys together way more than we ever have in the fall. Typically last year Quinn's off by himself for a week playing a tournament.
Right.
The year before Josh was off for 10 days by himself playing a tournament. You broke the group up. And so this year that was the goal, keep these guys together from day one. We brought them back earlier than we ever have. Kind of started just doing everything together before school started, and then we're trying to build that all the way through and really build this group up.
Well, and calculated, it sounds like, right? Because I imagine because you're younger with all the travel in the spring, I mean, it all factors in, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, now, keys to success for the team. Just tell fans a little bit about your roster, some keys for these guys moving forward.
It's going to be a couple of the guys who's got to step up young. I mean, there's going to be – we're deep this year, so we do have a lot of options. So it's going to be fun to see who kind of steps up. The couple of guys that were big contributors last year, couple of freshmen last year, now in their second year, and then obviously Vladdy, who everyone knows, and those guys got to do their job and mature and keep improving. And then some of the young guys are going to have to step into positions that are a lot of stress right out the gate.
Sure.
If we can get those things done early, then we're going to be good. Last year, I think we started a little slow, and we got it going at the end, did a couple of things we'd never done.
Yeah.
We can't have that little gap to start the year this year.
Makes sense. Arron Spencer, we talked a little bit about, to bring full circle, the Washington date. I mean, I'm sure that
March 22nd.
Yeah. Arron Spencer, Associate Head Coach for Oregon Men's Tennis. Hey, thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you.
Really appreciate you taking the time. Have a good holiday season, and best of luck all season
You too.
long. Great stuff with Arron Spencer. I really appreciated him taking the time, and we're going to talk with one of the outstanding Oregon student athletes from the men's tennis team, Paris Puacho. We talked with him actually the same day that we talked with Arron this week, and we've got that slated for you on the show tomorrow. A freshman that's put together one of the better falls that Oregon men's tennis has seen. And you heard just there Coach Spencer talking about how young Oregon men's tennis is, and part of that transition. The good news is that we still get to hear Coach Schielander and Coach Spencer talk about the Washington rivalry. I love it so much. I cannot express how much I love it. I saw a question earlier about the section for the Ducks at the Rose Bowl. I believe, I'll confirm with Jason Harris, I believe Jason said yesterday it was like sections 11 through 18 or sections 13 through 18. I know 18 was the last one. So 11 through 18, I think you're pretty in the clear for the Oregon section. I was trying to think of a more fun way to say like the Oregon section, the Duck section, but that's just what it is, right? You want to sit with Oregon fans. We get it. Also of note, award season is continuing. Dylan Gabriel adding another trophy to the trophy case. Tell you about that when we come back. Wrapping up Duck Insider next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Today we talked with Jorgy, talked with Tracy Joiner, new Oregon soccer head coach, and men's tennis associate head coach Arron Spencer. All keeping track of Oregon volleyball. Things are interesting. It's the third set. It's tied at 1 set apiece between Oregon and Pittsburgh. As we close out the show today, we won't know the outcome. That means that we will all find out tomorrow. Best of luck to Matt Ulmer and the Oregon volleyball team as postseason hopefully continues beyond today for Duck volleyball. It's finals week here at the University of Oregon. One more day of finals for all of the students here before the holiday break. Oregon men's basketball in action on Sunday, women's basketball in action Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And on tomorrow's show, a women's basketball check-in with Kelly Graves, Oregon head coach. We'll also check in with the voice of that team. Chris Clayton's going to join us here in the Country Financial Studio. Some of his thoughts on the season that has been so far. Dylan Gabriel continuing to add to a very full trophy case. Today, bringing home one of the older honors, actually, in the Big Ten. The Chicago Tribune always gives out the silver football as the best player in the Big Ten, and the Chicago Tribune has given that to Dylan Gabriel. That's pretty cool for a guy who had over 3,500 passing yards and 35 total touchdowns this season. Oregon has been excellent offensively. Today, Will Stein and Tosh Lupoy each sent out a post detailing the other side of the ball that they coach. Both of them with that iron sharpens iron mentality. Statistically, one of the best defenses that Oregon has ever fielded. Will Stein sending out that information, the Duck offensive coordinator. And Oregon, since the last 3 seasons, has been the best offense in terms of points per game, yards per game. Tosh Lupoy sent that information out today. Iron sharpens iron. We'll see you for your Friday edition tomorrow. Jerry's going to be here too.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave